Welcome to For the Record, where we provide deeper insights into articles from Atlantic Business Magazine. This episode, Dawn Chafe and Roshanak Sadeghi-Zadeh discuss the 4th annual list of Atlantic Canada's best places to work. Welcome, Roshanak. I appreciate you making time to be with us on this episode of For the Record.
Thank you so much for having me, Dawn. It's such a pleasure to be here.
So this is the 4th annual Best Places to Work list that we've done with Atlantic Business Magazine. But this year is really different and unique because for the very first time, we partnered with certified professional and human resource associations. And there are 4 of them across Atlantic Canada. You helped us with marketing and also with judging, which we're very proud of. It helps raise the profile, but also the prestige and the authority of the list. So you are, of course, the chair of the board of CPHR-Nova Scotia. And so therefore very well able to judge this particular program for us. But before we go into talking about the judging, I just wanted to ask if you could give us a moment to tell us about this designation and what it does for somebody and why it's important.
Absolutely. The CPHR designation is a national-wide, a Canadian-wide designation, well known across Canada and beyond. We are actually the second designation in the world after SHRM. And it's important because it gives the strategic lens. So again, it's not just a few letters in front of our names. It provides a different perspective, which is strategic, and prepare the HR professionals for the constant changing of the workplaces today.
So what I'm hearing is that you are supremely well qualified to be one of this year's judges. And we certainly appreciate your volunteer efforts towards helping us select the list. It was a lot of work. 255 nominees to come down to 20 winners. I have to ask you, what is the difference between a good place to work? Because there are admittedly thousands of them across Atlantic Canada. But what's the difference between a good place to work and what makes a best place to work?
It's a great question, Dawn. A good place to work meets expectations, right? Like people generally, they feel supported or happy. Or employees perform, earn compensation is fair. Employees are provided the tools to do their job, and they're able to do their jobs, right? But a best place to work goes further. It's about connecting people to purpose. And I want to emphasize on the purpose, right? That purpose is really the meaningful and impactful piece that creates an environment where employees feel truly valued, really connected to that larger purpose. And these organizations invest intentionally in culture. They invest intentionally in the effective and proactive communication and invest on the growth. So they don't just offer perks, as we see. They build trust. They have transparency. They create a sense of belonging. And ultimately, the true difference is the consistency piece. A best place to work doesn't just treat culture as another program. It's interwoven into their DNA. It treats it as a promise, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the days of just giving someone a salary increase and expecting that they're going to do everything you ask of them, it has to be a lot more than that. I mean, this employee is actually, you're a part of their life and they're a part of your work organization.
Exactly. And then the time is gone that, we expect the employees to come in and, not to bring their personal life to the organization. However, shifting into bring who you are, and we appreciate the diversity and the talent you bring to the organization.
Right. So as I said off the top, we had a lot of applications this year. Initially, we had 255, and I know there was a shorter list that actually went to the judges. But what was your overall impression of the quality of this year's nominees, and what does it say about workplaces in Atlantic Canada?
Yeah, so overall the quality was very impressive. I was very inspired by the submissions. We saw organizations really leaning into strategic programs for people, and it was beyond just the checking the boxes, I would say. And many of the applications that we received and reviewed, they demonstrated that thoughtful approach to culture. Clear values we saw robust engagement strategies and programs, but also I would say that was very refreshing. It was the willingness to measure, because when we don't measure, we can't improve. But we saw a demonstration of willingness for the organizations to measure, but also open to improve it. And then the other piece was around genuinely working with the union, especially in the unionized environment, to make all of that happen. It's clear that even smaller organizations, they're stepping up their games. And I think that was the piece that made the competition really tighter than ever before. And it was so obvious because now the threshold for larger organization is higher now. And although they have all the resources and all the tools, but the smaller organizations are the ones that they can easily and faster create that customized approach and positive employee experience because of they're smaller. So that's where we see that the competition was very competitive and very tight in that area.
That's a really interesting point that you make there. I mean, we have so many small to medium sized enterprises across Atlantic Canada. And to think that they are able to compete in a competition like this, going head to head as a best place to work with some of the largest organizations in the region and have hope of being recognized, I think that's says a lot about the quality of the applicants. I have to ask though, were you surprised by the responses and did they overall meet your expectations?
I was surprised, but in a positive and very pleasant way, I would say. Benefits. It was interesting to see that the benefits have evolved really significantly, right? Like it was far beyond the traditional, group insurance and healthcare and glasses and dental and paid time off. It was really beyond that. We saw more of a mental health support. We saw flexible scheduling. We saw more focus on employee wellness programs and financial wellness programs, and a lot of initiatives that towards working parents. I read about all these initiatives, and the global organizations, and on papers, and I read about it, and I expected some growth in these areas. But regional employers really exceeded that, and it shows that employers really understand that people need and want holistic approach. It's not just the paycheck and the basic perks, but it's really that customized and holistic support means a lot for employees.
Right, right. I mean, there was a lot to consider when you were going through this judging process. I mean, when you look at the categories, it was like inclusivity and accessibility, corporate culture, employee engagement, environmental social governance, health benefits, financial, professional development, vacation and time off. Looking at all of those categories that you had to assess the employers in, was there one particular trend that stood out to you as being that this is what both employers are offering and people are looking for?
Yeah, great question. Two things really stood out to me. One major trend was personalization, customization and personalization. Companies are moving away from one size fits all policies and programs and practices, and they're leaning more into flexible and people centered approach and programs, right? And it's either a hybrid work model or tailored professional or customized professional development, or creating that employee experience when it comes to customized leadership development plan. To This resonated really well with me, and I was surprised to see it. Customized benefits, right? Like we're so used to from the traditional ways, one way fits all type of group insurance, go for all. But we saw customized benefit, like customizable benefit insurance.
Mhm.
Organizations are recognizing that employees they have diverse needs, their families have diverse needs. So another thing was transparency, which really was interesting, and happy to see that. Employees want open communication, they want transparency, and the best employers, they're making it part of their culture. It's part of their cornerstone and their message. I think that was very remarkable to see that.
Thinking in the broader context of recognition programs like this, um, Atlantic Canada's Best Places to Work, why would a company want to be recognized this way? What does it do to them or for them when it comes to recruitment and retention?
It's a huge impact, right? Like, it's no longer because of the social media. It's out there, right? Like people talk, people share. And reputation goes way beyond the perks, right? And what we want to portray on media or internet or in websites. So it's really what employee experience it, what employees want to talk about it, and also become the ambassadors to bring their friends or families or networks or the other talents to the organization. So it's really important with respect to, yes, from all of the above, like again, from attraction, from recruitment, talent development, but also retention perspective as well.
So you're saying it's the kind of recognition which could become a very powerful HR tool for a company that's been recognized.
Absolutely. Yeah, that goes a long way for sure.
So when you look at a program like this and how advantageous it is for a company to be recognized as one of the best places to work in Atlantic Canada, it's obviously to their advantage to be one of the chosen. So based on your experience this past year, do you have any advice for future applicants on how they can improve their application to give them a leg up and maybe make it into next year's list?
I would say be authentic. We as judges can tell when organizations are writing to impress versus telling the real story. And besides, there are lots of data available out there. Social media is connecting people. People are more than ever before are speaking their minds, and highlight what makes your culture unique, not just what sounds good on paper or what the previous submissions looked like or sounded like. Make it your own. Own it. Like why this is so important and what you're doing that creates a unique culture in your organization. Use the data uh, if you have or where you can, but make sure you balance it with the employees' voices, and what you put on paper is how employees feel. And most importantly, treat the application as a learning tool. Having that continuous improvement mindset is a huge piece. The process can show strength, but also can show the gaps. And the best organizations are the ones that they use this insight to continuously improve their programs, processes, and their practice.
So, really quickly, would you recommend that they review this year's list of winners and the attributes that made them a best place to work? Would that be a good exercise to prepare for next
Uh,
year?
Yes, absolutely. I personally and professionally learned a lot myself. I continue to review and read all about the previous successes, and highly recommend for all of us to go through the lists and learn.
Well, thank you so much. This has been an incredible conversation, and I'm so happy to have you as one of the judges for this year.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a privilege to go through the process, be part of this experience. Thank you so much for having me. Congratulations to all the nominees and the winners. All the best.
Learn more in the latest issue of Atlantic Business Magazine.